Adam Taxin here with Rabbi Benny Zippel, who heads up Chabad of Utah, or that's the correct title, right?
Chabad Lubavitch of Utah.
Chabad Lubavitch of Utah, of course, in Salt Lake City, and he's featured in the book The Rebbe's Army, one of the featured rabbis. That book came out, 5-10 years ago.
Exactly.
Yeah, I had heard about you a long time ago, but I'm passing through. Only came here for Shacharis, not even staying for Shabbos, but it's nice for you to give me a few minutes of your time.
My pleasure.
To talk about Parsha Balak.
Yes.
And you have some thoughts about the Jews being cursed versus the Jews being blessed.
Absolutely.
The floor is yours.
Anti-Semitism, people make the mistake. They associate anti-Semitism as a plague, as a problem pertaining to the last century or two, 21st or 20th century. And there's all kinds of endeavors based on overcoming anti-Semitism with committees and organizations and fundraising and so on and so forth. Unfortunately, as far as the reality of the Jewish people is concerned, anti-Semitism has been around ever since the days of Avram Avinu, of Abraham, our patriarch, 5,000 years ago, who was already being persecuted by Nimrod and others for the sake of being Jewish, for the fact that he had discovered the existence of one and only God and had essentially become the founder of a monotheistic system of religion. This week's Torah portion, Balak, contains a verse that I think is mandatory for every Jew in America and beyond to memorize, especially during this last final dark moment of the Golus. Balak, king of Moab, is very insightful and very intelligent. He realizes that all the battles that the Jewish people are overcoming against their enemies is not due to their power, due to their great talents or whatever.
I have to interrupt with one question just because I'm not from here.
Yes.
I don't want to interrupt the point, but isn't there a place in Utah called Moab?
Yes, there is, Moab, Utah.
Okay, I'm an out-of-towner. It's an innocent question. Go on.
Moab, Utah, no problem. So Balak hires Bilam, a magician with supernatural powers, and our sages tell us that the powers that Bilam was given were equal to the powers that Moses was given, so that they came from a different source, from the source of negative energy known as Klippa. And Bilam, in all his attempts to curse the Jewish people, tries from one side, from the other side, and every time he opens his mouth to curse the Jewish people, words of blessings come out, to the point that one of the most beautiful prayers that we say 365 days a year, Matovu ohalecha Yaakov, Mishkenotecha Yisrael, how nice are your tents, or Jacob, your dwellings, or Israel, are composed as a curse, quote unquote, by Bilam, a non-Jewish magician in today's Torah portion. And finally, God spells it out for Bilam. And this is the verse that I want to refer to, that I think is mandatory for every person to remember. And God says to Bilam finally, Lo ta'or et ha'am, you shall not curse the nation. Ki varuchu, for they are blessed, for it is blessed. We, the Jewish people, are God's people. Unfortunately, we have had a Holocaust, we've had pogroms, we've had negative times in Jewish history, but there is one thing that we need to remember until the end of days. Lo ta'or et ha'am. Nobody, but nobody, will ever succeed in cursing or overcoming the Jewish people. Ki varuch hu, for it is blessed. We have God's blessings. We are the recipients of God's blessings. We are God's chosen people. And so in face of any and all adversity that we may encounter in our lives, there is one and only entity that we can all rely upon. And this is the God Almighty, who in this week's Torah portion says, Ki varuch hu, for my people are blessed. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.